Hi everyone, welcome to TRI, where we help businesses scale and grow. My name is Rohan, I'm a business consultant and coach, and today I'm here to talk about growth, but not just any growth, efficient growth, profitable growth. It's clear that the aim of the game in business is to grow, to be profitable, to get more revenue and all of that good stuff. Now it's important to understand that applying a growth strategy might not be the best thing for your business, but rather you might want to implement a strategy to scale instead. Now a lot of people use the terms growth and scaling quite interchangeably, but they're very different. With growth, it's not only about increasing revenue, but it's also about the increase in the costs and the resources that are required to actually fuel that revenue growth. Let's say you have a digital marketing agency. You're doing quite good, you've got 3 streams of revenue coming in from 3 different client projects, and you're doing great. But you decide it's time to grow, it's time to start bringing in a bit more money into the business. So what do you have to do in order to fuel that growth? You're gonna need to actually go out and hire someone, go through the recruitment process. But the issue with that is, in order to achieve that growth in revenue, you also had to pay out for someone's salary. So ultimately, when it comes to growth, an increase in revenue is directly proportionate to an increase in your costs. Now, when it comes to scaling, yes, it's about an increase in revenue, an increase in profits, but it's about increasing the profits while trying to maintain or decrease the costs. So let's look at this example. Let's say you are a marketing consultant and you can only look after 5 clients at a time. Yes, you want to grow, but you don't necessarily have the resources to fund that growth. So what do? You figure out to yourself, well, the same amount of time it takes me to talk to 5 clients and really train and educate them, why don't I just record a series of videos and package it as a course and ship it out to thousands or millions? So with scaling, you've been able to increase your profits, increase your revenue, but you've kept the cost to the same or only given it a slight minimal increase. So in summary, yes, scaling is about an increase in profits, but it's also about minimizing the cost as much as possible. So let's look at this example, which I think really highlights the key differences between growth and scaling. So on the left, we've assumed that a company's revenue is growing at 15% a year, while the costs are also growing at 13% a year proportionally. You can see there's only about minimal increases in profit margin of about 2% year on year. But if you look on the right box, the revenue is increasing by 15%, but the business has found a way to keep the costs increase down to 5% year on year. So you can see that the profit margins are much higher year on year as compared to applying a growth strategy. And you can really see that in the graph just above the boxes. So I hope that really shows you what the key differences are. So now let's talk about some tips for scaling. Now, ultimately, there are well-documented tips and advice and methods for scaling a business. But ultimately, I really like to pin it down to 3 methods or 3 approaches or 3 decisions, whatever you want to call it. So if you've decided between scaling or growing, and now you're really asking yourself, well, how do I go about doing that? I always like to suggest asking yourself 3 questions. So let's look at this simple diagram I made. So there's 3 main questions I always recommend you ask yourself if you're deciding how to grow or to scale. The first 2 are aligned to scaling, and over there you're asking yourself, can I do more of the same, or can I do the same with less? You look at your business model, look at your operating model, and you start asking yourself the question, across the different areas of the business, can I implement one of these 2 methods? And as you know, with growth, it's all about, well, can I do more with more? Now, overall, let's look at some well-documented tips on how to scale. Number 1 is automation. Automate whatever you can, wherever you can, to save yourself time. When you automate your processes, you save so much time doing some mundane, repetitive tasks, and you free yourself up to do more creative, value-adding tasks in the business. You could automate your social media posts by using a scheduling software. So whether or not you're sleeping, taking a shower, having a bath, as long as you've scheduled the content to come out at specific times, you've saved yourself the time and manual effort of doing that. Number 2 is investing in scalable infrastructure. Now, a really good example of this is if you are maybe an IT company or tech company and you save a lot of client information on your servers, well, choosing to have those servers hosted on the cloud rather than physically might be best. It means that when you're ready to grow, all you have to do is purchase more space. Whereas if you had physical hardware that you had to upgrade, you'd have to buy the parts, buy all the accessories, find a space for it, upgrade it. There'll be so much cost aligned to that as opposed to a few clicks of a button and a purchase. And tip number 3 is focusing on the right things and outsourcing all the other stuff that you're not great at really. If you own a car wash business and your specialty is washing cars, well then outsource your marketing to someone else. Focus all your time and effort specifically on the things that contribute directly to your growth. Invest your time and effort there. And once you've grown to a good amount, then you can decide to bring all these things back in-house. So there you go, some quick and easy tips on how to grow your business efficiently. If you've liked this video, leave a thumbs up, like it, share it, show your mom, your dad, your auntie, your uncles, everyone. I'm Rohan, this has been TRI, and I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot, guys.